Develop a fortune state of mind, state of mind. It's time for a date with, time for a date with the Dorseys.
Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to A Date with the Dorseys.
A date with the Dorseys. It's going to be exciting.
You say that every time.
So who are you, though?
I'm Dr. Jatan
And I am Floyd Dorsey.
The fourth.
That's it.
Hence A Date with the Dorseys, them darn Dorseys.
All of it.
All that. And a bag of chips. We are back yet again for another topic. Another hot topic. Sometimes you got to sing it when it's real hot.
That's a hot with 2 T's, right?
3.
Oh, we're going to do the third T hot this time. Okay, so we know it's on fire.
Yes. As my girl Aaliyah would say, hot like fire. Something like that. She didn't say it quite like that. You don't know that song?
No.
Hot like fire.
Oh, okay. I see. I still don't know, but I see.
Oh, okay. So we're going to have to get him up to speed. But speaking of fire, that just reminds me of something we talked about earlier this week before we even get into the topic.
Yes.
Because, Mr. Dorsey, my husband, my BFF, even though I ain't here sometimes.
Sometimes. I have, friends that...
He said he got friends.
Like
I ain't your friend?
Since, before time. You know what I mean? I can't just pluck them out.
Anyway, because he digging himself deeper into this hole. But we were talking about fire. And since he loves to drop little bombs on me, throughout the week and on, on our podcast and everything. So if you've been tuning in, you know how that goes down. But I wanted to share this one because I think it would be very beneficial. He's looking at me like, what is she talking about? See, he's probably afraid because my bonuses come out a little shabby for him. So he's like, what is she about to say?
They do.
But no. So in our last episode, of course, we posted it, we shared it. We had some new graphics to share with the peoples, and we got some good feedback on that. And, a lot of people were giving us some thumbs up. Great pick. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Now you follow me. Okay.
Okay.
And then, we like, okay, we'll drop a few comments in response saying, yeah, thank you. But did you listen to the podcast, though?
That's it.
So.
Or did you share?
Did you do something? So anyway, again, talking about fire, my husband said, listen, we just dropped 30 minutes of fire, but you worried about the flyer.
Yeah. Oh man, stop. I do.
Yeah, he
I remember that.
Okay, now he remembers.
30 minutes of fire, and you
worried about the flyer.
It was nice though.
That was nice. All that to be said, we want you to make sure you're listening to the podcast, you're sharing the podcast. Not to say that those people did not. We're just saying we want to encourage to make sure that you getting the meat. You getting the meat too, right?
Exactly.
Not just the gravy on top.
You got to open that book up.
Right.
Just can't look at the beautiful cover.
Absolutely.
And shouts out to our designer. Phenomenal job.
Yes.
But again, let's go beyond that,
Absolutely. So if this is your first time tuning in, of course, we like to open up with a little insight on what we talk about, what the Day with the Dorseys is all about. Then we jump into our topic. And, we kind of go with the flow from there, right?
Let's do it, yeah.
So if you would like to follow us, please do. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Dem Darn Dorseys. You can also find us at Date with the Dorseys. So either way, you can find us on Instagram or Facebook. And then you can also email us at fortuneenterprise.com. I'm sorry, I missed a piece of that. It's support at fortuneenterprise.com.
Yes.
And Fortune, goodness, let me get myself together. Fortune is spelled IVTUNE, enterprise.com. Now, about our topics, we encourage a fortune state of mind where we don't only talk about money in the bank, but also a holistic view of you being and becoming your best self.
The best self, and that is a fortune state of mind of you, right? That version of you that's more holistic and that's embodying not only the financial aspects, but every other aspect of life that may be important to you. But I know we have our core tenets that we stand on, that lives out, that or brings life to that fortunate state of mind.
Right. So with that, we kind of led into what our topic is, because this has been our series of life lessons. So we kind of opened up with a bonus this time. Last time we closed out with a bonus.
You might get one at the end. Who knows?
You just might. Well, as we said earlier, you'll see how it flows, and you just never know how it goes.
Never know.
But yeah, so we usually talk about the 5 F's as we intertwine and build up to our fortune state of mind lessons, right? So this series is, as I just mentioned, dedicated fully to life lessons, whether it be from mom, dad, uncle, sister, brother, teacher, coach, whomever it is that we've encountered throughout life. We just wanted to share some of our lessons and how they've changed our lives.
Yes.
So, do you want to start, Mr. Dorsey?
I will. I'm certainly open for that. So this one, this goes back to high school. And for me, it was a freshman coming into the high school. And again, my eyes were wide open. And when I say wide open, I mean they were really just taking so much in, because that transition from middle school to high school was a big thing for me. But most importantly, it was transitioning to high school football. And walking into the field house, I saw this banner. And again, it stood out to me because this was a saying that I saw for years and years and years, all my years there, every day I walked in. And it had a saying that the man who thinks he can, the man who thinks he can't, are both right. Now, that applies, now I know I said man, but that applies to anybody, the person who thinks they can, right? The woman or whoever it is if you think you can, or if you think you can't. Either way, you're right. And that is to say, whatever you're thinking, you're believing, you embody, you become, that's what you're going to manifest. And if you're thinking that you can't, then yeah, I agree wholeheartedly that you, more than likely, you can't. You're right, absolutely. And so for me, it was more transformational at that time in school, because there were so many different challenges, especially going into the football program, which to me was the elite, top premier program in the country, might I say.
Oh, okay.
But going into that space, really having to face those adversities and trying to grow up quick and become a part of such an elite program, I had to really reshape my mindset as I approached just my lifting, my training, balancing school, all those things there. But most importantly is what that understanding and what that impact did for me for the rest of my life. I went from that high school and went on to do other things, but that mindset was still there. And it was, do I think I can or do I think I can't? And I had to really check it. When I faced adversity, I had to really check into myself. What are my thoughts on this? Because either way I'm thinking, right, I can or can't, I'm going to be right. And so for me, it truly was more a shift in my perspective, a shift in my life that I continue to build on, even though there were various different types of challenges. They were brand new, and I really had to dig deep and understand that I can. And with that, I had to foster the behavior that followed the sense of being of I can. Right?
Mm. So you had to shift your mindset and really believe first that you can, so that you can then move about in life that way.
Absolutely. And I think for anybody, whatever you're doing, whatever you're facing, whatever you're seeking, it is that truly that mindset. Most people want to know, just tell me what to do, right? And they skip past the part of just thinking, how their mindset, right? Their way of thinking or looking at situations. And they just want to be told what to do and get into that pattern of just doing. What I say in that's fine if it works for you, but I know that oftentimes if you really haven't had a mindset shift, what you're doing will not really be too effective, because it's not really more transformational. It's just a different action. Now, those actions could lead to a different behavior, but if you don't have the mindset behind that, it's hard to embody, and then that would transform your new sense of being, right? So it is the thinking that shifts the actions, right? So I think I can, therefore I act differently, therefore will become different. And ultimately, after becoming, which is really the goal, there are things that you can have. So again, I'm going off on a tangent on my be, do, think, do, have spiel. Be, do, think, do, have. I want to repeat that. But this was really the beginning phase of me really understanding how to shift the mind and the challenges I would face, and even facing those challenges, how to apply it as I begin to overcome those things.
I think that's good. When we kind of went into the mindset shifting, I think people will be able to easily, I guess, understand, because that's kind of one of the phrases most often used now, right? To kind of refer to the action that you need to take to move to the next level. And even in my coaching, and whether it be in my business or in my career, I've learned quickly and now lean towards the first step being mindset shift in almost anything, whether it be your career development, goal setting, being intentional, time management, just, many different things. People are stuck because they are stuck in an old mindset.
That's it.
And it's just time to shift that, so then that your body can follow that mind, because your mind is usually stronger than what do they say? Your mind is stronger than your something. I don't know.
It's stronger than something.
I'm saying no. You know, because you say it all the time. But anyway, we'll get to it. But anyway, your mind is pretty strong. It'll encourage you to motivate you or whatever.
Absolutely, and your own inner voice is the key that's driving it.
Yeah,
I think it's certainly key for the shifting of the mind. And the beautiful thing about shifting your mind, of thinking that I can, is that likely right when you make that shift, you're going to be immediately met with a challenge or an opportunity to even reinforce or prove that to yourself, right? That challenge is a beautiful thing, a beautiful gift that some people will shy away from. But if you understand that, hey, I shift my mind to now I'm thinking that I can, and this is just my way of being, or way of thinking and way of doing, and that a strong opposition or opportunity is going to come into play. Now, with my mind being shifted and I face that opportunity, after I overcome it, this was only a key barrier or opportunity for me to reinforce that mindset shift, as opposed to changing it or to doubting. So I think looking at those obstacles, opportunities, or barriers as you're going through it is very, very important with that mindset shift. So again, I'll close that one out, that the person or man who thinks he can and can't are both right.
Great. So I guess that means I'm next, right?
It's on you. Let's go.
So the one that I have today, or one of the ones I have, is the devil is in the detail. And I first heard this from, I believe, a professor. Don't recall his name. But we had this huge project, and as much of a writer as I am, that project was kicking my butt. I have no idea what the topic was or what the assignment was specifically, but I do recall for some reason I was struggling. I submitted the assignment and I was looking for additional feedback, and I remember going to the professor after the class, and he's like, the devil is in the detail. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? That was my first time hearing the phrase. But ultimately, it means that though the thing or the situation may seem simple at first sight, it really requires you to do some more digging or be more thorough so that you can be I guess, more successful in the end, so that your outcome is more efficient, effective, or produces what is intended for it to produce. So with that, I was pretty much realizing that I hadn't dug enough into the assignment. I hadn't done enough research to really get to the grit of it. And that's oftentimes how we do things or approach things in life, especially with social media and, everyone getting accustomed to or desiring things to just happen right away. As soon as I think about it, I want that thing to be in my lap. However, it may take more work. It may take more time. For instance, starting a business. Some people think that, oh, I just woke up with this idea. Let me just go on and push this thing out. When in fact, it may require some additional research, some additional resources, connecting with the right people that have already done it. Just more work than just thinking of it and it appearing.
That's it. And I know that there are a lot of visionaries that are out there and saying details, right? But I think that, to the point you made, that is truly the difference between having that vision and then being able to have the final product. Mm-hmm. Because it is going to that level of details. And if I could just take your mind, for our listeners, to a place where you're in the kitchen and you're getting ready to go in there and you're getting a slice of cake. And I know we've all experienced it. We cut the cake and we've eaten it and said, oh, wow, it looked extremely good. I had the taste for it. It was very desirable. But when I ate it, it just wasn't quite there. Something was missing. Mm-hmm. So with that something missing, I know we've all had cake that was just magnificent. But that something missing was between the details that went into making it, the right ingredients, the right amounts that was being put in. It was all those fine details is something that would transform that cake that you had that wasn't a good experience, that looked good, that wasn't so good, to the one that you truly had and really enjoyed, that looked good and tastes good. It's those details that what you're putting into that particular final product that's going to make the difference.
He went back to the pound cake. Y'all might need to, look through our archives at one of our earlier episodes where we actually broke down ingredients in making pound cake too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But as you use that analogy, I'm also thinking of it in a different way, where we see this cake and it looks, as to my point earlier, it looks simplistic, it looks good, it looks, it looks tasty. And you slice into it and you eat it and you realize the devil is in the detail. In other words, you got all those calories, all the sugar and all the ingredients that you don't necessarily need.
There you go.
From a health perspective. And when you dig deeper, it's like, oh, wait, those are the details.
So the devil is in the cake unless you get angel food, right?
Okay.
No,
okay.
I stop.
I'm just saying, it depends on how you look at it, right?
True. I agree. Absolutely.
Okay, so what you got next? What you got up?
Okay. So the next one, this is one that I crossed in my more professional career, in that life, right? I took you to high school, but I'll bring you back into more of my professional career. And so my manager at the time, he had recommended a book that we read for our team. It was a great book, by the way. But it was entitled, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And I'll tell you, that title didn't disappoint. However, for me going into it, I had a mindset that what got me to where I am today will be the same thing that's going to take me where I'm going to be tomorrow. After reading the book and talking about it with some of my colleagues and managers and people of that nature, I realized that what got me to where I am today is only good enough to keep me or have me where I am today. That if I'm going to get to where I want to be or where I'm going to be tomorrow, then it's going to take more of what I did to get to where I am, plus some additional things that I'm going to have to do, either alter, add to, or take away. Whether it's taken away, could be some things that will probably not so good, or adding to be more of things that will be more progressive. However, either way, you cut it. It truly is it was a pivotal point for me to really examine, well, what truly got me where I am, right? So what are those things, and what are those things that I can continue to keep and build on to get me to where I want to be tomorrow? So what got you here won't get you there. And again, that was a real key from a professional standpoint, because I had to re-examine everything I thought that I had figured out, and to even go further and break those things down to finding out what are the additional components, what are those keys that's going to take me to where I want to be tomorrow.
So growth. Growth is key, right?
Bottom
in order
line.
to grow, right?
Absolutely.
And typically, I don't know, at least for me, as I continue to go through life, achieve different things and want to achieve other things, up leveling from where I am, it seems like continuing to have that mindset creates the natural growth and the natural ability to change my actions, change my thoughts to where they align with where I want to go.
That's it.
It's kind of like a maturity thing. Once you get accustomed to the process, then that just becomes how you be.
That's it. That sense of being. And I like how you frame it, that you're more committed to the discipline or to the key framework that will enable you or allow you to continue to progression, and not just committed to one particular component of it. Mm-hmm. Some people are just committed to the fact that, well, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to eat breakfast. Just for an example, I'm going to eat breakfast every day, right? Mm-hmm. And saying that this is the thing I need to do. That's, and it got you to where you are, no doubt, and that's great. But if you're just stuck on the fact of waking up eating breakfast every day, you may miss the bigger picture. We're saying that I need to make sure that I have proper nutrition daily. Mm-hmm. Right? So, and that may require you to adjust your meals of eating breakfast every day to get you to where you want to be tomorrow. Right? So eating breakfast every day is maybe something that got you here. But when you really understand what was the framework, what was the methodology of the understanding of that was, well, it's truly just making sure you had proper nutrition at different points of the day. And that may be something that you can adjust and adapt to get you or us to where we want to be tomorrow.
That's good. So you got the mindset shift already. We talked about what else? Devil is in the detail. And now we're saying you may have to shift. You may have to shift what it is that you're doing in order to get to where you want to go.
Right. You may have to shift to get to where you want to be, to where you want to go. I agree with that. Yep.
So the next thing is, for me, is a story from Wayne Dyer. And because I typically like to listen to motivational videos, motivational audios, whatever it is, and I assume that you do as well because you're listening to this.
Boom.
So, he tells a lot. Well, he told a lot of great stories, used a lot of great analogies, gave a lot of great lessons. So it's kind of hard to just pick one, but the one that came to mind is one that he shared regarding losing your keys. And he kind of went through the story as if, you had your keys and perhaps you were trying to juggle a lot of things in your hand. You dropped them. Once you made it in the house, you maybe have a lot of groceries and you just drop your keys. You lose them, didn't realize you dropped them. So once you do realize that you dropped them and you're looking for your keys, right? You're looking for your keys, but you have no idea where they are. And you go outside because it gets dark. You looked around the house already and you're like, okay, well, it's dark, but the street lights are on. So let me go outside and, see if I can find them. I may have dropped them in this certain area. So you're searching around outside for your keys. And someone comes along and they're like, oh, what's going on? Let me help you. Well, I lost my keys. Can you help me find them? Okay. So there they go, both looking for the keys outside in the middle of the street. And then the person that's helping you asks, well, where did you lose the keys? Well, I think I lost them in the house. Well, wait, why are we looking for them outside in the street then?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And, your response is, or the person's response is, well, the lights came on out here and I figured I'd just look outside because the lights were on outside. Wait, what? But in short, the story is just saying, like, sometimes we lose things, whether it be our minds, whether it be our enthusiasm, our motivation, whatever it is, and we go looking for it in a place that it never was. And it's important that we, identify where it is that we lost that thing first before we just start aimlessly searching for it outside of ourselves. A lot of times it's in us. And we're going to this person, that person, looking for the solution.
Oh, I love that. Because I think that puts the accountability, the empowerment, and the ownership back to each individual person. If there's something you need, you lack, you're missing, you're lost, search within. And more than likely, you'll find it there. But if there are things that you need to go outside of yourself once you search deeply within, inside and around within you, then there's certainly an opportunity to take a look outside, maybe for assistance. Right?
Yeah, but even on the other side, flip side of that, the other person was following, per se, the person that was lost, who was looking in the wrong place. So oftentimes in life, we find ourselves following people that are doing things that look to be, effective, efficient, in a certain direction, on the right track. But we don't dig enough. When we talk about the devil is in the details, we look at that simplicity on top and the surface, like that pretty flyer, without digging into and listening to the podcast to know what it really truly is about. And then you can find yourself aimlessly following someone who is aimlessly searching for something themselves.
You have the blind leading the blind. But I think in your story, a key point was, and I advise this to anyone that's providing assistance, insight, or any support to someone else, is asking questions. I think your question was, and that search was, well, where did you lose them? Or where did you last have them? Or something to that effect. Right? So even though I'm following or I'm assisting, I am entitled or empowered to ask questions that may trigger something within you for you to go back to the place and find that answer. I might not have the answer. I probably can't find it for you. But as someone who may be supporting someone else, it's key while they're on their quest of seeking whatever knowledge, information, or whatever they're looking for. I think the key thing is to ask those real key questions that will stimulate a mindset or stimulate their thinking so that it helps them to get back to where they should really be looking, and that was inside.
All right. Yep. I think that is a good point. So we've talked about 4, really 5, if we count the very first one. But again, we talked about the devil is in the details, were mine, and the one we just talked about was, we'll just call it keys lost.
That's it. And we hit on a man or person that thinks they can, the person that thinks they can, are both right. I know that is a quote somewhere. I'm not sure who to credit for that, of the original author of that one. Then we also spoke about what got you here won't get you there. But I'd like to close, well, as we do close, I know the closeout queen is going to come in.
Whatever.
It's going to lay it down and make it
Haters.
said so that it will forever be said. But one last one, this is the bonus. Even though we gave you one at the beginning, we'll give you one at the end. It is, as my father always said,
that's it?
That's it.
Wait.
That's it.
As your father always said, see?
That's it.
But you cracked. Wait, no.
I'm saying you can put
on the last episode of this series, when I dropped my bonus, you looked at me like I was crazy.
No, I'm saying that's it. and you walk away after that.
Oh, okay.
And that's a done deal. It's enough said.
Like my daddy always said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, well, whatever your daddy said, that's what we're gonna go with, y'all. So we are so glad you tuned in yet again for another date with the Dorseys. And as I was just introduced for the outro, the closeout queen has arrived. She is red tea with a T to give you what you need. So if you did not catch us at the very, very, very beginning, perhaps you missed the fact that you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Dem Darn Dorseys. That's DEM Darn Dorseys. If you search at Them Darn Dorseys and get proper, you will not find it. So you can also email us at support@fortuneenterprise.com. That's fortune spelled IVTUNE. enterprise.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love for you to download, click, like, love, share, all the things that you can do
Because everyone needs this.
Everybody needs it. Everybody can take a little something out of
Right.
every episode, I think.
Right. Even if they just need somebody to talk to them. We'll do that.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes people want somebody just to talk to them.
Right. Or maybe even to put you to sleep. Like when you up at night, just plug us in your ears and
I'll be a real good soothing voice for you.
oh no, I got that laugh, so it may wake you right back up. So nevertheless, again, we have been sharing our life lessons in this series. So make sure you catch the previous episode where we open this thing up with a few things, a few life tips that we've already shared, and then those that we share today. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed the bonuses. I guess we'll consider that last one a bonus. I don't know.
That's the biggest
I don't
one.
know if he gonna get credit for that one, y'all. But again, this has been yet another Date with the Dorseys. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Develop a fortune state of mind, state of mind. It's time for a date with, time for a date with the Dorseys.